Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Everton show. We're nearly at the end of another busy week for the Toffees. We had the FA Cup last Saturday, followed by two challenging, to say the very least, away fixtures in the Premier League. We'll be reflecting on how it's gone so far in the charming company of Graham Stuart. Diamond, two totally contrasting opponents, Dagenham and Redbridge, and then Manchester City at the Etihad, but two clean sheets, which was important.
I'm sure that will delight everybody, management, players and fans alike, because we know we've got a terrific attacking threat and we've shown that numerous times over the course of the season. But if there's anything that's held us back, it's certainly in our Premier League position. It's been the fact that we've conceded a few too many goals. So collectively, I'm sure everybody's delighted with a couple of clean sheets.
I'm sure they will be. Plenty then, as always, to get through this week. We'll hear from the players, the boss, a former player. We've even got some actors for you. And we may even get something from the real star of the Dagenham and Redbridge show, the name that was on everyone's lips after the game, the Goodison Cat.
I have to say, the way we went about our jobs, the way the team played, and within that the work rate of everybody and the desire to help the mate next to them and in front of them and behind them, I thought was probably the best we've been.
To have that resilience, to have that character, to be able to keep a clean sheet was an outstanding sign of how far we've come.
We've got our heads down from now until, at least the turn of the month, because the games keep coming. So, we know how to prepare. We know how to recover, and we'll keep doing that.
He had Everton all over the set. I mean, Blue is everywhere. We try to play practical jokes with him every once in a while, throw some red flags in there every once in a while just to mess with him. But yeah, he's a diehard Everton fan.
Graham, there were no shocks, or very few shocks, in the FA Cup third round, and there was never really likely to be one at Goodison, was there?
No, I think we were very comfortable throughout the 90 minutes, Darren. They weren't overly adventurous, Dagenham and Redbridge. I think the only shot on target or remotely close to our goal was the free kick in the first half that got an ooh from the Dagenham fans. But other than that, really comfortable afternoon for the lads.
We were 1-0 up for a long time, but it wasn't a nervy 1-0 lead, was it?
No, it just everything felt comfortable, didn't it? I mean, anything can happen. You've got to be aware of that when it's 1-0. So we were praying for that second goal just to give us that little level of comfort. But Kevin Morales slotted the penalty that he'd earned himself away, and all of a sudden it was that comfortable afternoon, yeah.
A bit like a friendly, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, you don't want any scares. Been down that road, it's a horrible feeling, so I was delighted for the lads that it was a nice, comfortable passage through to the fourth round. Very
much job done. Well, Dagenham and Redbridge, as we said, didn't exactly come north to Goodison to conquer, did they? I think their remit was to enjoy the occasion and not get too heavily beaten. And to be fair, it was very much mission accomplished for the team fighting for their Football League lives. After the game, Roberto Martinez agreed that it had been a fairly routine afternoon for his players.
I think we made it very professional. I thought our performance was full of concentration. We stopped Dagenham and Redbridge to create any threat, but all credit has to go to Dagenham and Redbridge, the way they kept the concentration throughout 90 minutes. They kept a very disciplined shape. They made it very difficult for us. But overall, I'm delighted in the manner that we adjusted to have a team that he knew how to play with each other. A lot of players coming back from injury, a lot of players coming back from a spell outside the team, and that's always a real good way to introduce yourself as an individual and just to show the strength that we got in the squad. A really good professional performance, which allow us to go into the draw with a real excitement.
We talked about the importance of welcoming back Phil Jagielka and Stephen Pienaar before the game. What did you make of their performances today?
Well, I think Phil Jagielka looked like he's never been away, and that's always a terrific sign. He looked comfortable. He always gives you that presence, that leadership. I thought Brian Oviedo stepped into the tempo of the game very well in a different position. And Stephen Pienaar, it was really nice moment. I thought for the reaction from our crowd towards Stevie P was just recognition of how difficult it's been for him and a tough period. And as a footballer, the worst period of your career is when you have to cope with injuries. And I think now it's great to see Stevie P available, enjoying his football. He lasted a lot longer than I expected, which is credit to his fitness and the way he's been looking after himself. But it was a magic moment to see Stevie P and the reaction from the crowd. Great crowd, great environment, big numbers, and we really enjoyed having those players back and fighting and making us stronger as a squad.
It was an entirely comfortable afternoon, wasn't it, against Dagenham and Redbridge, and it was probably the perfect afternoon for the skipper to ease himself back into the fray. Phil Jagielka missed 13 games after limping away from the Emirates Stadium back in October, and he was delighted to be back last weekend.
Yeah, definitely. It's obviously been a little bit of a while, but we knew that once I got injured. But nice to get out there, clean sheet, 2 goals in the hat for the next round of the cup. So job done. There was quite a few of us out there that needed a bit of game time, and it was nice to get out there.
Was it a good game for you to come back into? There wasn't huge amounts to do defensively.
No, not massively. It was a pretty gentle way of sort of being brought back into the first team. Obviously, with the 2 previous games we've had, they'd have been a little bit more testing. But there's going to be a testing month from now on. This next sort of 4-week period is going to be pretty much a game every 3 days. So it's nice to have so many lads available for selection, and this little bit of match fitness that most of us got will obviously come in handy.
Yeah, how do you feel, obviously injury-wise and fitness-wise?
Yeah, it's okay. Obviously, I've not done a tremendous amount of games and stuff like that with it, so it was nice to test it. Fitness-wise was okay, a couple of runs, but nothing too major. And hopefully, when I wake up tomorrow, I'm not into a bad of a condition, and hopefully, put my stake forward for Wednesday.
Yeah, do you feel pretty much back in the mix in terms of ready to go now?
Yeah, definitely. But people have played well in the team, so it's a case of just whatever game time I get, when I get the game time, is to try and do as well as I can. Obviously, there's been a couple of injuries, so that potentially might help me out to get back in there, which obviously isn't great for the team, but on a personal level, might get me a chance quicker. And I say I can't wait to get back in the mix.
The League Cup's gone well this season. How important is the FA Cup?
Massively. We've always said about we need to win something, we need to win a cup, we need to get as far as we can in the cup. It showed the other night how much the fans loved being in the latter stages of a competition. They were great here at Goodison, and it'd be nice for us to get just as far in the FA Cup and hopefully have some special moments.
Diamond Jags there confirmed that the FA Cup is just as important as the Capital One Cup. The draw for the 4th round, you want a home tie, but if you don't get one, you want a relatively easy away tie, and Carlisle or Yeovil.
Yeah, I don't think we can argue with it, can we? I mean, I think it would be nice if we did play Carlisle. You look at the problems that they've had over the last couple of months up there, and I think it would be a nice little boost for Carlisle if Everton turned up and gave them our support as well. But ultimately left them empty with us being in the 5th round.
They've had a tough time, Carlisle. They've had to play their home games at Blackpool and Bolton and Preston, but apparently they have had a new pitch relayed. So, as you say, it would be nice.
Yeah, I think it would. But more importantly, I say more importantly from a business perspective, we want to get through because we've seen in the Capital One Cup that, you get your head down, you get through those first 2 or 3 rounds, and all of a sudden you're staring quarterfinals and semi-finals, and it's a good habit to get into.
Builds momentum, doesn't it? Well, one of the features of the Roberto Martinez reign so far has been his keenness to introduce youngsters to the first team fray, particularly in the cup competitions. Matty Pennington had already had a taste away at Barnsley in the Capital One Cup earlier this season, but his maiden Goodison appearance against Dagenham and Redbridge was an occasion to be savoured.
Really proud moment for me and my family. Been waiting for this day to play in front of the Everton fans, come and watch all the games, and to step out there on the pitch was brilliant.
When you found out you were in the team this morning, did you hope that there would be action for you, minutes on the pitch?
Yeah, obviously I was hoping for some time. When I was on the bench, I was thinking, when's it going to come? Is it going to come? But it was great to get the chance when I finally came on.
It was a really nasty clash of heads for Amiro, and of course we're all hoping that he's absolutely fine. But were you expecting? Did you know then that you were going to have to come on as soon as you saw him go down? Did you think that was your moment?
Well, I thought he was going to carry on, to be honest, but it must have been a nasty clash of heads and a bad injury, so I was glad to take the chance, and it's unfortunate for him, but it was very fortunate for me that I could get a chance to go on.
And how do you feel the second half went then?
I thought it went well, to keep a clean sheet and to see the game out, win 2-0 and into the next round, that's the main thing, but I was really happy with it, yeah.
Of course, you've plenty of experience at Coventry City playing against teams in League One, so League Two opposition today. Did you always feel as if you were going to be comfortable filling in?
I just thought I'd be confident in myself, and got good players around me, helping me through the game and talking to me, and it's just a chance of carry on doing what I'm doing, and it went all right. So,
did you feel the difference? You've obviously played here under 21s games, under 18s games in the past, but to step out in front of numbers like that at Goodison Park, that must have been a different feeling.
Yeah, it was really good at first. I noticed the crowd, but then once you start playing the game, it's just another game, and you get on with it and do what your job is.
That was young Matty Pennington, and that's just about it for part one of this week's show. We'll take a quick break now, but we'll be back shortly for part two, which is when we get under the skin of the football club and have a look at issues away from the first team. Welcome back to part two of this week's programme. Well, it wasn't just the Goodison Cat who shared the spotlight with the players during the FA Cup tie last Saturday. We also welcomed some very special guests. Noah Cunningham was celebrating his 12th birthday, and after a fan-led social media campaign, it was probably his best yet. He was literally swamped with birthday cards from supporters, and he got to meet Duncan Ferguson.
Please give a warm Goodison Park round of applause to Noah Cunningham, who is celebrating his 12th birthday with us today. Over the past week, Noah's mum Vicky has been leading a special campaign to encourage Evertonians to bring a birthday card to today's game for Noah, who suffers with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. In true Everton style, supporters have responded fantastically to this appeal, and Noah has received hundreds of cards to help make this birthday even more special. Now, Duncan Ferguson and members of the Dagenham and Redbridge board will now present lifelong Blue Noah with birthday cards from the players. Everyone at the club wishes Noah a wonderful birthday.
Noah's got a muscle wastage disease, and every birthday is a special one, and they're a lovely family, and it's all about, for them, it's all about building memories. It's not about like things and toys and stuff, it's all about memories, and I just think it's so lovely to give them just the best birthday ever.
There's been absolutely hundreds and hundreds of people getting involved, and we've been here today helping to collect the cards. I actually contacted the club and asked if there was anything that could be done, so people have been able to drop them off at the reception, so even people who sit in other stands can get a card to him. So we've been inundated with them. There's so many already, so it's been a really, really good response.
Been overwhelmed by all the support and the kindness from everybody, really. But it's all about making memories, you know, that's what we do. So this is definitely going to be a memory that, well, it's going to take us a long time to get over it, really. We're going to be opening cards, I think, for the next couple of weeks.
There's none better than the Everton supporters, I swear to God there isn't, you know what I mean? But besides from the Everton supporters, you've got Man U supporters, Liverpool supporters, Stoke supporters, Sunderland supporters, all kinds of supporters. They're all messaging him on the Twitter and the Facebook, and they're all sending cards to the ground.
I think it just sums up Everton, doesn't it? We are the people's club, and we're like a big blue family, so it's lovely.
That was Noah Cunningham there, a really good friend of Everton Football Club. And he wasn't the only youngster enjoying a special day last Saturday. Young Denver Fay is only 9 years of age, but already he's had no less than 15 brain operations. We heard about his plight, and we invited him along to watch the Dagenham and Redbridge game and meet the players. His special gift was presented to him on Christmas morning, and his tearful reaction promptly went viral. Denver, his older brother Kyle, and his mum Laura had a day to remember last weekend.
So now the time has come to reveal the surprise. Make sure that Kyle is reading, because you won't believe your eyes. Are you ready? You have an exclusive invitation for Everton FA Cup game. And at this match, you will meet your heroes, Jagielka, Lukaku and Baines. Bring your camera and your autograph book. You're in for a special treat. Big thank you, Everton Football Club. You've made our Christmas day. What do you think about that?
Kyle, Denver and mum Laura, a huge round of applause as we welcome them all onto the pitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, two absolute Everton heroes, Kyle and Denver. All these people are clapping you here and you deserve it. Laura, what kind of day have you had?
It's been amazing. Like any single place we've gone into, everyone took in home, and just the staff have been incredible. The players, just meeting them, you know, just they were joking around and tickling them, and it was just amazing. Just I couldn't ask for anything.
He's been one of the bravest little boys in the world. How's he getting on?
Really good. He plays football 6 days a week. He's a midfielder, aren't you? And he's a defender, and they're just a team, aren't they?
You can tell by that piece of film they love Everton Football Club, don't they?
More than they love me, probably.
Ladies and gentlemen, two heroes, Kyle and Denver.
Okay, Laura, you've just been out on the pitch with Kyle and Denver. You got a great reception from the fans. How's the day been?
Amazing. I couldn't have asked for anything better, but except from it keeps getting better. Every time we do something, they say, right, come and do this. And I'm like, what is going on today? You've had a great day, haven't you?
Yeah.
Easy on me.
You're a bit nervous.
Are they? I'm a bit nervous as well.
Who's your best friend in Everton?
My best friend's probably Leighton Baines. We've been here the same amount of time, so we hang around a lot together.
Who's the longest in shower in changing room?
Oh, that's a tough one, that. It used to be Fellaini with his big wig of hair, but Kevin Morales, because he likes to make sure he looks super special when he gets out of there. There we go, mate. Don't kick that around the house and break anything, okay?
Okay.
That should get me in trouble.
Thank you.
No worries. That wasn't too bad, was it?
No.
I'm not that scary, am I?
How fondly are you going to remember today?
Do you know when you've been through really hard times and you don't think that the next day might come? You don't get days like this when you're in... I'm sorry. You don't get days like that when you're in a place like that. So then to have it and then to keep saying, right, we're doing this now, and I'm like, you've given us so much. These have raised money for 10 different charities this year. We're used to giving it to people because we see many people that need help. So then for us to get it and keep getting it, and it's just amazing, ridiculous, and I just can't say thank you enough to everyone that's done everything. Yeah, we'll remember this for a long time, won't we?
Yeah.
It's been amazing, thank you. Do you want to say thank you, boys?
Thank you.
Diamond, I've seen that piece of film countless times, particularly the Christmas morning footage, and it still gets to me.
It does. The tears are welling up a little bit, Daz. That's the sort of thing it does for you. But it's great that we're, as a football club, we've got an opportunity to make special days for Kyle and Denver and the likes, because that means so much to them, as their mum said. But it's not a lot for us to do for them, really.
Once again, it's the power, it's the pull of the football club, isn't it, and the people involved.
Yeah, of course. But you know, we've got to make it happen, and we've got to open our doors and allow people to come in, especially when you've got a situation like the young lad there who's gone through 15 operations in 9. No one should have to go through that.
They enjoyed it when they came on the pitch. Noah was made up at the side of the pitch, and in Noah's case, it wasn't just Everton. Dagenham and Redbridge got involved. Yeah. Fans of other clubs got involved. Yeah, they did, and it's great to see everybody pulling together, and it just shows how brilliant football fans can be together as well. And I have to say, every credit to Dagenham and Redbridge. The people behind the scenes there were terrific. They were really fantastic at Goodison Park. Well, as I said earlier, didn't I? It's been a busy week for us all at Everton, and especially for Diamond and myself. This is the reason why we headed to Leicester Square in London on Tuesday evening.
This is Everton TV, so the carpet may not be the right colour, but this is still a special occasion. It's the UK premiere of the Hollywood film Creed. It stars our very own lifelong Evertonian, Tony Bellew.
We love Tony. He's a great ambassador for our club in his own right as well in the boxing world. So we're here to support him as much as anything else.
You Evertonians get everywhere, don't you? But I gather Goodison Park has a bit of a role in this movie, hasn't it? And of course, Tony's a big Evertonian, isn't it? So I'm just coming to see what they do with Goodison, really. Forget the movie.
I'm envious of where he is now. He's in Rocky. Rocky Balboa's been my inspiration, as he has many fighters' inspiration as a child. And fair play to him. I'm really pleased for him, and I'm looking forward to see how it comes across on screen.
It's amazing, getting one of our own up there, alongside the greats. He doesn't get any bigger than Sylvester Stallone.
It's the first time we've been on the red carpet, but really looking forward to it. Obviously, the Tony Bellew angle. So looking forward to see the film. It's something we grew up with, watching Rocky movies, so really looking forward to tonight.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing Goodison in all its glory on that big screen. I mean, we were there when it happened. We were wondering what the reaction would be. The reaction was absolutely spectacular, so it's going to be great to see it tonight. A real treat for us, I'm sure.
It was so nice to see him take on the challenge of acting, which is so different than the sport that he does. But I'm so proud of him. I think he did such a fantastic job in it. If he wants to act, he can do it now.
He had Everton all over the set. I mean, Blue is everywhere. We try to play practical jokes with him every once in a while, throw some red flags in there every once in a while just to mess with him. But yeah, he's a diehard Everton fan.
Tony Bellew, it's my man right there. Trust me, he's become a movie star. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
You know, he's so talented, man. I think Tony's got a great future as an entertainer. I mean, he already does commentary for Sky Sports, and if you watch his fights, if you watch the stuff around his fights, he just sucks the camera up. You know what I mean? The camera loves him. So working with Tony was just incredible. Once I met him, I knew it wasn't a risk at all.
I'm on a red carpet with Sylvester Stallone, Rocky Balboa, John Rambo. I'm with three legends in one night on one carpet. It's unbelievable, mate. I just can't believe I'm doing it. I can't believe I'm here. And long may it continue.
Enjoy the night, Tony.
Thank you very much. All I can say is come on, you Blues. Ali, 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 oh.
Diamond, that was a first for Everton TV. It was certainly a first for me to be on the red carpet, but it was a good experience, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a really good night. We all enjoyed it. The film was very good as well. And obviously, as I said in the clip there, we were there to support Tony as much as anything else because he is a massive Blue. We all know that. And he did really well in the film. It was a good film.
And part and parcel of Tony agreeing to do the film was that he played an Evertonian because originally the part was written for a Liverpool fan and the bomber refused.
There was no chance that was ever going to happen, was it? And you know, it was good for us because we sat there in the auditorium there, and you get that lift when you see, you know, Tony in his Everton kit and stuff like that. It was really, really good fun and good to see, and a great endorsement for our football club as well.
I was just going to say that the shots of Goodison, it was a little bit surreal, wasn't it, watching Sylvester Stallone and then it cut away to Goodison Park, but it was super exposure for the football club.
It was brilliant, and I think Tony's gone on record as saying he wants the real thing, doesn't he? He wants to fight at Goodison Park as well, so if that can come true for him, you know, he'll go a happy man, wouldn't he?
He's a genuine Evertonian, Tony Bellew, isn't he? If he's not away at camp or he's not abroad, he's at Goodison Park.
Of course he is, yeah. We see him at Goodison all the time. He's any opportunity he gets to be at Goodison or at any Premier League game to watch his beloved Blues, he's there.
And his performance in the film was good. He looked a natural.
He did. Well, we're not going to give it away and say what happens because we've ruined it for everybody. We've already ruined it for a few in the office at work, haven't we?
Even if Tony wasn't very good, who's going to tell him? Well, that wraps up part 2 of tonight's show. After this short break, we'll bring you our big interview section. And this week, we sit down with our former England international left-back, Mike Pejic. He's good company, Mike, so don't miss it. Welcome back to the third part of this week's Everton show. Back in 1976, Blues manager Billy Bingham recruited tough-tackling left-back Mike Pejic from Stoke City. Pejic had won international honours for England, and he played 7 games short of 100 for Everton during a 3-season stay at Goodison Park. We caught up with him at a recent former players' gathering to chat about the old days and the art of being a left-back.
Yeah, it's great to see the faces again over the last 12 months, and obviously 1 or 2 have left us, sadly, and it's just nice to see the faces what we saw last year and the good time we had, and long may it continue. But it's great for Everton to ask us every year back, and although I was only here for what, say 3 seasons, I think it was. You give your best to them, and it's always been appreciated, so it's nice.
Plenty of familiar faces in there, as you say. Gordon Lee signed you as a player. What can you remember about that move?
Well, even before that, I think Billy Bingham, Harry Catterick, before that wanted me when I was a 19-year-old, and that didn't come through. Steve Burtonshaw, who ended up after Billy Bingham was a caretaker for a while, he wanted me. And then Gordon came, and obviously he got me. So at long last, I was here as a Bluey.
Third time lucky then for us?
Yeah, I think so, and it's a great club, and everything was done correctly in them days. The board were fantastic. Jim Greenwood, the secretary, was a good chap. And Mr. Scott used to come into the dressing room before the game, one of the directors with us, and had a good chat. And I always had Dick, one of the people who looked after the dressing room, used to come in after every game and give me a bottle of milk after every match, so I enjoyed that as well before we had the hot bath and the cold bath. So.
Some great times in the 70s. Was that one of the best changing rooms you've been a part of?
I think so. I mean, when you look at the side we had at that time, we were really a tough competitive side to beat, and we were starting to match Liverpool in them days, who were obviously one of the top sides then, and I thought we got really close to them.
And looking at the current day under Roberto Martinez, what do you make of Everton nowadays?
Well, I mean, Moisey did a great job for quite a number of years, considerable number of years, and that mustn't be taken away from Moisey. He gave a good foundation for Everton. And Martinez has taken over and has brought his style of play as well. But when you look at the style of play now, Everton play is no different really to the great days of Kendall, Bohr, Harvey, LeBone and all those. Great team you had in the 60s.
We're obviously blessed with plenty of left-backs, Leighton Baines, Brendan Galloway, Brian Oviedo. How much do you think that role's changed over the years?
I don't think it's changed much. When you look back, even when Wilson was playing for Everton, he used to like to get forward. And they come all this new stuff now, tactics and all this, but it hasn't changed that much in terms of players pushing forward or players sitting in, or how many are sitting in midfield. You sit one in, you sit two in, all this business. It's the basics are there anyway, and I just think nowadays sometimes they're overcoached in a way. Although I've been a coach for all my career and managing and stuff, you've got to let players think for themselves at times and let them be themselves and give out their views and let them show their ability. You can't restrict that in some way.
Looking at Everton from a manager or a coaching point of view, how impressed are you with the quality of Everton's left-backs at the minute?
Well, very much so. They're a major part, aren't they, with Coleman on the other side breaking forward, and you've got Barry sitting in now and again, McCarthy breaking forward, and Osman occasionally in there, Barkley obviously in an advanced position. It all fits nicely, and your main base though is your goalkeeper and your two centre backs, your backbone of your side straight through the centre of the side, and then you build around it. But your full backs have always been a major part in terms of sitting in or when to break forward, and now you get this rotational thing in wide players ahead of you. So it's getting that understanding and units of play, which is important.
Mike Pejic, Darren, wasn't at Everton long, 3 seasons. He played 93 games, but his affection for Everton Football Club is crystal clear, and he's far from being the only one.
No, I mean, you'll never find a player who's played for this football club who doesn't have good things to say about us. And it's because they get treated properly when they're here. They get treated with respect. Everybody's nice as pie. And, that's without the football side of things as well.
One of the kindest descriptions, I suppose, for Mike Pejic is uncompromising. A tough tackling left-back in the days when full-back could tackle.
Well, that's it. The game's totally changed now. I mean, you always could get away with 1 or 2 heavy challenges on a winger or a centre forward, but not these days. But he wasn't afraid of a challenge, was he?
Who was the full-back who gave you your welcome to the professional world?
It would have to be Stuart Pearce. I mean, I was a young kid at Chelsea, about 19 years of age. Went to the City ground and got demolished 7-0. Stuart Pearce scored 2 of them, playing 1-2s from the halfway line. I mean, he was really in his prime at the time, and I thought to myself, this is the big stuff now. You've got to liven yourself up. It was a good lesson for me.
Defenders, when you were starting out, Graham, could really leave one on you, couldn't they? But I'm sure you played against some experienced pros who'd have a little word in your ear, a nice word to say from time to time.
Yeah, still lovely lads they were. Yeah, I mean it was very uncompromising. You used the word earlier, Darren, and that's what it was. They weren't afraid to try and intimidate you as a young boy. You try and they try and have a word in your ear and tell you to stay away from them, and you run past me and you won't have your legs on you very long and what have you. But it was it's all part of the learning curve, and you grew up very quickly.
John Stones did well at right back, didn't he, against Manchester City?
He did. Yeah, I mean we know John can play there anyway. And in some respects, it gives him the freedom to get himself forward, because we know John is a ball player and he likes to get himself forward as well. But totally and utterly going to be his centre-half, England's finest centre-half for years to come, in my opinion. But he can play there if we need be.
Absolutely. Well, back at Finch Farm, we welcomed another brand new professional footballer into the fold recently. Nathan Holland has been really impressing the coaches since becoming an under-18s regular, and the young winger was duly rewarded last week when he put pen to paper on his first professional contract.
Yeah, I'm made up obviously to see the rewards. I've worked hard for it, and I'm made up that Uns is delighted for me, and hopefully I can just kick on again now.
It's a big milestone in any young footballer's career. How long have you had this in your sights?
It's something you want to work for ever since you join the club. You know how big it is. Obviously first you go for your scholarship, but definitely I'm made up for the pro contracts, and I just want to carry on kicking on now.
We know quite a bit about you, but for the fans that don't, tell us when you came here and how that came about.
Well, I was 8 years old. I was just playing in a tournament, and Martin Waldron was there. He scouted me. I came over for a couple of training sessions, and then they said that he wanted to sign me. And since then, I've just never looked back really, and just been here all my life.
You've had a bit of injury this season.
Yeah.
You're nearly back in full training, I believe, and looking forward to kicking on now.
Yeah, I've been unlucky with a couple of injuries this season. Obviously, I missed the World Cup for the under-17s, but I think I'm over that now. I've worked hard in the gym. Hopefully, when I come back, I can come back stronger and just kick on and get back some games under my belt. Yeah.
You must have been watching on quite a bit this season with you being out. You looking forward to being back in that team and playing in that team?
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, it's a very good team. You've got to work hard for your place. They're always working hard every day. So when I come back, I just need to obviously impress the manager, because we've got a new one at the moment, John Ebrell, and just see where that takes me. Yeah.
Exactly. I was going to say John Ebrell, who is no stranger to Everton, having come through the ranks himself when he was a young footballer. His first role now, really, with the 18s.
Yeah.
The lad's looking forward to a new voice, new face?
Yeah, definitely. First impressions are very good. We all really like him, and he just wants the best for us, so hopefully we can repay him by getting wins under our belt.
And from your point of view and the rest of the lads, the coaches that you've got, the 4 under-18s coaches that go in the rotation system, they've all come through here at Everton. You won't find that anywhere else.
No, yeah, definitely. They all know what it takes. They've all been there themselves, and they can pass on their experience to us to give us the best chance to do what they've done.
So the 18s won the league a couple of years ago, came so close last year.
Yeah.
Is there a bit of a ambition to get that title back? We felt we didn't really deserve to lose it last year.
Yeah, none of us want to have that feeling again. We all know how hurt we are after obviously not getting the result we wanted on the last game, but this year we want to put it right, and so far I think we've done that.
Diamond, it's always a special moment, isn't it, for a young player when you put pen to paper on something you've worked so long and so hard for, your first pro contract?
Yeah, I mean, it's terrific. It's what you strive for all those years, and the sacrifices you make by, not going with your mates to parties on Friday nights, etc. And it's all the worthwhile when you sign that contract.
It's probably not easy, that, is it, for a young boy?
No, you've got to be disciplined, but that's what you've got to do, especially in the modern day game. You can't be going out drinking alcohol and what have you. You've seen the exploits of these players at the highest levels. Your body is literally a temple, and you've got to look after it. You
were in London, the bright lights. Must have been temptations, but at least there was no iPads and mobile phones and Snapchat and what have you in your day.
That's true enough, yeah. I mean, the temptation clearly is always there, but, I wanted football more than anything. And if you want it that bad, you'll make all the sacrifices you need to do to make sure it happens for you.
Young Nathan's had a bit of an injury this season. Every player that gets injured wants to get back playing as quickly as possible, but especially at a young age like that, you've really got to do what the physios tell you to do.
Well, you do. You have to. I mean, your body's still developing, you're still growing, so vitally important that you take the advice of the physios. And, the thing about it is you always feel like you're running out of time, and you're just desperate to get back on the field and start playing and what have you. But, the reality of it is you've got a hell of a long time in the game. It doesn't feel like it, but you have. And he's just got to take his time and make sure he's 100% fit before he comes back, and I'm sure he does great.
Back in your teens, you were part of one of the first intake groups at Lilleshall, weren't you?
Yeah, myself and John Ebrell. John Ebrell was the year above me, and then now Locke came along. But even then, nothing's foolproof. I mean, John, I think there was about 3 or 4 of John's intake who made Premier League football, and there was only 2 in my lot. So out of 16 players who were allegedly in and around the best 16 players at the time, only 2 of us played Premier League football, myself and Dean Kiley. So, there's no guarantees in life.
Just shows you're still a long way from where you want to be.
Of course there is. I mean, there's so much hard work to be done. The hardest thing is to get yourself into the first team, but you've got to work even harder to stay there.
It certainly is a long journey for any young footballer. Well, that's just about it for part 3 of this week's show. It's West London and Chelsea at the Bridge on Saturday for us, and we'll start the countdown to that game after this short break. Welcome back to the fourth and final part of this week's Everton show. Well, the first team wasn't the only Everton side to play Manchester City away from home this week. The under-21s played them at their very impressive academy setup, which is just over the road from the Etihad Stadium on Monday night, and the young Toffees stretched their unbeaten run to 5 games with a 1-0 win. Here's the best of the action, followed by the thoughts of the coach, David Unsworth.
Everton under-21 started 2016 in the best possible fashion by coming away from their trip to Manchester City with a hard-fought 1-0 victory. The first half was evenly matched, with City winger Jorge Intima going closest to breaking the deadlock from a tight angle. But Everton raced out of the traps after the break, and Kieran Dow's strike just 30 seconds into the second half proved to be the match winner. A tidy finish from the midfielder, he beat goalkeeper Angus Gunn at his near post. Everton dealt well with Man City's response, but the young Blues needed a bit of luck when forward Bertrand Salina saw his effort cannon back off the post with 10 minutes remaining. Sam Byrne passed up a late chance to make the margin of victory more convincing, but David Unsworth's men held on regardless, stretching their unbeaten run to 5 matches.
We were fantastic from start to finish. We limited, a very good Man City side to, 1 chance in each half, and they've hit the post in the second half, and that's the little bit of luck that we needed. But I have to say, the way we went about our jobs, the way the team played, and within that, the work rate of everybody and the desire to help the mate next to them and in front of them and behind them, I thought was probably the best we've been. And I'm delighted for them because I thought they thoroughly deserved it.
Diamond, that's 5 games unbeaten for the 21s. David Unsworth's done a particularly good job when you consider he's never entirely sure what he'll be working with lads being injured, lads going back to the 18s, lads with the first team, lads on loan.
Yeah. I mean, many people say, don't they, that it's the hardest job at the football club, knitting everybody together as the under-21 manager, because as you mentioned, there's injuries, there's people going out for experience that, you want to give them that experience by going out on loan. The young lads coming through, the senior players coming back in to try and get some football and some game time as well. So David's done a terrific job.
They were at Manchester City's academy though. We were there on Wednesday night, and it's some setup, isn't it?
It's an unbelievable setup. A couple of 100 million helps, doesn't it, along the way, but they've spent it brilliantly, and it is a stunning setup, giving their kids there every chance. I mean, an unbelievable opportunity, but also a nice evening for our lads to go down there. Good stadium to play in.
It's a great arena, isn't it, for the young players? And by the way, the under-21s were in action last night as well, this time against Newcastle United in the Premier League Cup. Check out evertonfc.com for highlights of that one. Well, as we've been saying, it was back to the Premier League on Wednesday night, and one of the toughest challenges you can have, Manchester City at the Etihad. To analyse the hard-fought 0-0 draw and to look ahead to another testing away trip this weekend, we collared Gareth Barry.
The big picture is we've come to a stadium like the Etihad where they seem to always score goals and to keep a clean sheet. That's the big positive. The first half we really were in the game and had the better chances, I felt. Second half on the ball we stopped playing maybe a little bit, but it's difficult to come somewhere like this and dictate both halves. First half we were very good, second half we defended well, so overall we're pleased with a point.
Tim Howard's been under scrutiny recently, but he showed his class again tonight.
Yeah, of course. As a goalkeeper, you're going to come under that sort of pressure sometimes. But Tim's so much experience, so much quality, and like all good players, he'll come through it. And today he showed his class again.
Do you think we got a little bit lucky at the end with the decision not to give a penalty, or have you not seen the replay?
At the time, I didn't think it was, but somebody's just mentioned to me saying it might have been a bit closer than I thought. So, hopefully, we need a bit of luck sometimes. So hopefully, we got it today.
It's a great result and a great platform for what is a busy week with another big game at the weekend against Chelsea.
Yeah, it's a really difficult week. Two away games coming together and 2 top teams. 2 teams that finished the top 2 last season. So it's always going to be a difficult week, but it sets us up nicely and gives us confidence to go to Stamford Bridge to try and build on this.
Chelsea seem to have weathered their early season storm a bit, don't they?
Yeah, the change of manager seems to have lifted everyone there. The results have certainly changed, so it's going to be a tough game. But as you say, we're confident ourselves, so let's go down there being positive.
Would you have taken the draw tonight before the game, Gareth, here at Manchester City?
I think so, yeah. You're always obviously going to try and win, but listen, they're a great team at home. their home form's the best in the league at the moment, and over the past few years it probably has been. So points, no disgrace.
Great away support again. You expect nothing less, do you?
No, we know when we come here, places like this or anywhere in the country, it's going to be sold out. So there's a lot of games in January. So we thank you for the support from our fans, because it's not easy to keep coming with us.
Graham, Gareth Barry's won the Premier League, he's won the FA Cup. His winning mentality, his knowing how to win trophies could be really key to Everton, particularly when we go back to the Etihad in a couple of weeks.
Very much so. I mean, you need somebody like Gareth with his years of experience and as you mentioned, Darren, the know-how to win trophies, and that's why we're craving a trophy for the lads, because it's a great habit to get into, and once you've got the belief that you can do it, especially for the young boys as well, that's great for them to go forward with as well and have that experience, have that winning mentality and know-how, and that'll take them, that'll take them far in their careers.
Manchester City have been scoring goals for fun at the Etihad, so to keep them out was no small achievement. But did we get a touch lucky at the end when John Stones went in on Raheem Sterling?
Yeah, I must admit, my heart was in my mouth, especially when Roger Rees pointed towards the spot. But fortunately for us, it was the 6-yard line for a goal kick. But I think John's gone in, realised that he wasn't going to get there, but his momentum, he's tried to pull out, but his momentum's carried him forward, and I think 9 times out of 10, to be totally honest with you, a referee would have given it.
The game's come thick and fast, as Gareth was saying there. Next up, Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and again, anything could happen.
Well, it could. I mean, I don't think it holds any fears for us. I think the fear factor's perhaps gone out of Stamford Bridge, certainly this season. Plenty of sides have gone there and come away with positive results. We've got to believe that. As Gareth mentioned in the VT there, the first half we knocked the ball about really well. Second half we couldn't really get a grip of the game. We couldn't make the ball stick up top and build any momentum. But certainly I think the lads have got to believe that we can get 3 points at Stamford Bridge.
More than capable of doing just that. Now I can tell you, the last time Everton won a league game at Stamford Bridge, Dennis Wise and Glenn Hoddle were in the Chelsea side. That was back in November 1994. The current champions may be struggling this season, but their team sheet still makes for an intimidating read. Tim Howard is far too experienced to expect anything less than a huge Stamford Bridge challenge, and he insists that Everton's resilient showing at the Etihad stands them in good stead.
They're good at home and they're a very top side. I think a lot of that was they were a good team, but we controlled the tempo in the first half, and I think we just took our foot off the gas second half. So some of that's down to us as well, making sure that we apply ourselves the same way, and we could have controlled the game.
Clean sheets in the Premier League are not easy to come by, particularly this season. How satisfying is it to get one here of all places?
Yeah, as you said, from top to bottom, teams are finding it difficult because you look across the board. Every team has a top striker who can bang the ball in the back of the net. So certainly here, it's been difficult, coming to a place like this. But we're happy with our performance, certainly defensively.
John Stones played well at right back, didn't he?
Yeah, it was a different formation for us, because not only did we shuffle, but at times we looked like we were very comfortable on the ball with 3 in the back and allowing our outside backs to get forward and kind of, like I said, reshuffled a little bit. So we made some in-game changes that felt comfortable and felt right, and I think John Stones would do a good job as a number 9, as a winger, as a right back. Sometimes, yeah, he would. I mean, sometimes when you have talent and abundance like that, nothing phases you.
The boys must be in great spirits ahead of what's another difficult away trip to Stamford Bridge.
I mean, they just keep coming wave after wave, Yeah, we'll dust ourselves down tomorrow and, try and recover as quick as possible. Chelsea had a game tonight. They'll be doing the same. So, look, we've got our heads down from now until, at least the turn of the month, because the games keep coming. So, we know how to prepare. We know how to recover, and we'll keep doing that.
Things haven't gone Chelsea's way this season, but they've got bags and bags of quality.
Yeah, I think when you're a player and you're on the inside, you don't really take too much to what's being said about a certain club. You get out there and you line up, and the list reads for itself. And trust me, I can tell you as a player, you're worried about these players because they're world-class players. Whether they come together and gelled cohesively as a unit, on the day, that's not something that you can concern yourself with. They're a top club, top team, and if we don't press them and get up against them, they'll show us why.
Diamond, when you're ready. The Goodison Park Cat, he's been the star of the show again, hasn't he? He really has. Tim Howard, he's been under scrutiny, as I said to Gareth Barry there in that interview, and he was terrific against Manchester City.
He was. Again, he's proved year after year what a top-class goalkeeper he is. And he has come under a bit of flack. But, you know, Gareth said it again in his interview there, like top-class players come through those moments and they come out better the other side. And hopefully, from Tim's performance against Manchester City, he's going to go forward and be stronger for the second half of the season.
It was his 350th Premier League appearance for Everton, but when you do get flack, particularly in this day and age, it must play on your mind a bit.
I think it does. I mean, at the end of the day, the players are human beings. And it will have hurt Tim, there's no doubt about it. But, you know, he's experienced, that's the big difference. He's old enough to deal with it. You don't want that on the younger players because sometimes they can go under.
It's a big week for Everton Football Club. Another one. And that brings us to the end of another packed Everton show. Saturday's game will be our 5th of a hectic calendar month, and we're still only halfway through it. The challenges are coming thick and fast, but we wouldn't have it any other way. My thanks to Diamond and the Goodison Cat for his input this week. We'll be back same time next week, same place. And by the way, how do you tell a black and white cat to stay off the pitch?